good looking.
Right, this is only a single cylinder, so there's only one coil. And there it is. But this is a really good view of points here. So one of our viewers said, you know, when you say you're working with the points, I don't know what the heck you're doing. So maybe we can demonstrate a little bit better. All right, a quick lesson on points and what they're doing. And why do I keep cleaning these and why does that matter? So the way that this works, simplest terms, that flywheel has a magnet in it. It spins around and it generates electricity with the help of Mr. Coil here. That coil sends the electricity over to the condenser where it's standing by, waiting for the points to come together to release that electricity into the spark plug and generate a spark. And that's essentially how it works. Now, I don't know if we can get a good view here of the points, but they're right there, right at the end of my finger. And it's just two little, looks like two little discs, almost like two little miniature hockey pucks, I guess. And they just open and close. And when they're together, the spark plug should be firing. When they're apart, nothing should be happening. And the way that this works is that this little ring right here that I'm pointed at is called a cam. And this is not a circle. It's got a little bit of a bump in it on one side. And as it comes around, it moves the points in and out. So I'm going to try to activate it now, and hopefully you can see the points opening and closing. Try to slow this drill down so we can do it. Let's see. No, I can see it. I don't know if you can see it. Let me try a flashlight too. I really would love to get a good view of these once and for all. Okay, can I hold a flashlight and a camera and a drill? Let's try it. So hopefully you can see that on video, I don't know. But we're going to stick a file between those and file them. I love these little files. They've already saved a couple outboards. Those points are very clean. Let's put the flywheel back on and see what happens. This does have a key to help us line up the flywheel, and you can see it's pretty straightforward. Lock washer and a nut. Okay, let's give it a shot. Beautiful spark. I mean, I think it's even stronger than it was before. Wow, okay, another outboard saved by the Tecton file. Saving one outboard at a time. Tecton. So that's not properly torqued, but that's about, I don't know, 40 pounds, we'll call it. Just for now. All right, let's put the plug in. Let's connect some fuel up to this again. See what happens. This is pretty exciting. I love that we have spark. I love it. Connect our weird spark plug connector. This time I'm going to try to spray some fuel through the actual fuel line. I'm going to stick my fuel bottle in here. Get it wedged in there good. Okay. And then this third knob looking thing on the front that I talked about during the inspection, I'm going to see if that's a fuel shutoff. I think it is. It feels like a valve. All right, so I can't squeeze this bottle at all. The valve is closed, or the thing is closed, whatever it actually is. Now I'm going to open it. And now I can squeeze it. So theoretically, the carb is filling up with fuel right now. I don't see any. Whoa, okay. There's clearly an overflow on there, which makes me wonder if the float is working. Let's spin it over. We know we have spark now. We have good compression. The carb is completely filled up with fuel, but who knows what other crap is in there or what's going on. That might be the next thing we do, is pull that carb. But let's just see, just for fun. I really don't know where to set this throttle to start it, and I don't know how to turn this off, which could be a problem. I guess I could just rip that plug wire off. Usually when we do starter fluid, it's only going to run for a few seconds, but I put a lot of gas in that carb, and it seems to be holding. So let's give it a shot. I'm going to spin this over and use two hands, just in case. Again, I don't want to get hit in the face with a drill if I can help it. Whew. Well, old Cylonface definitely fired a few times. We had a little bit of smoke coming out. You probably couldn't see it down there. But, I mean, that's pretty exciting. 50 years, first ignition. Pretty neat. But I think the next thing, I mean, I couldn't get it to run, really. And this carb looks like it definitely needs some attention. So I think the next step, especially since it's so easy to get off, I think, is we're going to just take this carb off. I'll reposition the camera so you can get a closer view, and I'm going to take the carb apart, clean it. If it's horrible, I'll soak it in that overnight can thing. But let's do it. And there it goes. It's coming off very easily. Sometimes the gasket between the carb and the intake, you know, essentially becomes a piece of glue. But looks pretty good. Try not to drop too much stuff. So it's just two nuts and two lock washers holding the carb on. Ice cube tray it is. The carb doesn't look horrible. Whoa, there's definitely fuel in here. Well, either way, let's reconfigure things and get a close-up of the carb. We'll tear this apart and get it looking good. So here's our carb. I have some extra paper towels. I have a variety of screwdrivers. I have my trusty carb cleaner. And we do have that 1 gallon overnight soaker bucket if we need it. All right, I was able to get it separated. What I did was I took a socket extension and put the fat part in this side, which is the intake side, you know, just enough. and then I put the other side in a vise and I just gave it just a little bit of pressure and it started to peel apart. And what's really interesting, you're not going to believe me, but when it popped open a little bit, when the seam first popped open, a smell came out like you've never, like a decomposing mouse. I don't know why, maybe it's the gasket or something, but oh my goodness. All right, so let's see what's in here. Ooh. Oh my, oh. All right, so the top side is filthy. You want your carb to look perfect. You don't even want 1 grain of sand in there, believe it or not. This one has about 50 grains of sand, dirt, all kinds of other stuff in there. It's completely nasty. And that's the top side, which is usually cleaner. The bottom side, I don't know if you can see this. That thing that looks like a donut is the float, but underneath that is just, it looks like a 1/4 inch thick of sludge. Dirt and just, it's horrible. So I'm glad we took this off. Wow, a metal float, that's pretty cool. Usually there's some sort of foam or something. The float is moving. I don't know if it doesn't seem like it has any fluid in it, so that's good. But this thing didn't have a prayer of running or working at all in this state. So the next thing will be to take the float out, which looks like a little screw on the side here. I think this will be holding the float somehow. Oh, that's tricky. I need a slightly bigger screwdriver. Okay, let's see if we can get, all right, that's perfect. Perfect size. There we go. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's even sand or something in here. Oh, rust maybe? I don't know. Felt like it was ready to come out. Maybe not. So this is supposed to pivot. I would imagine. That would explain why the float is probably not working. I think this pivots. No, I think it just pivots on the shaft. So to recreate this, this guy is sitting in there like this. This pin here goes through it, and this is just floating. It's called a float, and when it floats up, it turns off the fuel supply. When the fuel starts to run low, this is called the bowl. In the bowl, the float goes down. It's just like your toilet, if you've ever opened the back of your toilet, and tells the gas tank to send some more fuel. Okay, let's leave that there. Now you can get a closer look. Again, this is supposed to be operating room clean, and it's absolutely disgusting. I mean, oops. Look at this. Oh my God. Okay, let's start a new towel. Oh my, I don't know how this could have happened. Like, it would be hard to get a carb this dirty. Holy crap. I have found carbs that stopped working because they had 1 grain of sand stuck in a needle valve. 1 grain. Wow. All right, you get the point. This is going to get blasted with some carb cleaner. But first, let's take everything off. All right, this is the low speed idle adjustment, I think. It looks like it is. There's a needle valve in there. I'm not sure if we want to take this off. It's working fine. I'm going to leave that there because there's a gasket between this and the body, and I think it's going to get destroyed if I turn it. So we'll leave that alone. It's not bothering anybody. This carb gasket has a break in it right here. So I'm not sure what we're going to do about that. We may have to make our own gasket. I mean, I'll try to find parts for this, but we'll see. So this is the float. I'm going to spray fuel in here. It needs to get by this valve, which hopefully doesn't leak now that I've taken all the sand out of it. So first let's test the valve itself. Okay. So let's see what happens. All right, you can see fuel going up here. Oh, that's good. It's better than it was. So it's not leaking out of the valve. It was leaking right around here somewhere. So now we'll open this up. Now it's still leaking there. It's leaking out of the valve itself. Maybe if I open it all the way, it'll seal. Let's try. Okay, there's a slow leak there, but we can still conduct the experiment. So you can see the fuel level rising. Hopefully you can see the float floating. And that's it. It's shut me off. It's working great. All right, we have Cylonface in the barrel just because why not? You know, maybe it will somehow sense that we want it to run and help us out. So it's time to put this carb back on. This fuel line would be okay. The carb looks a lot cleaner. That's good. My hands were clean for about a second. I hate working over this barrel because, you know, if I drop something in. All right, let's put the pull starter back on because the drill thing makes me nervous. Let's put this back on. All right, so I guess we'll put the choke on. can't put the choke on, you just have to hold it, I guess. Let's see, I think I'll stick a vice grip on here so it doesn't turn. That'll help. Okay, just clamp the tiller arm so it can't turn, and that way it can hold the choke. I think the choke would be really helpful in this situation. Something that hasn't run in 50 years. Not supposed to have pressurized fuel, I guess. We'll see. Ow! Idiot. This thing pivot. Where's the pivot adjustment? There. Almost wants to run. That's not good. Well, folks, you saw it run for the first time and the last time, and I just realized why. So you definitely saw it running, and it will still sort of run, but there's a crack. There's a crack in the casing. I don't really know what to call it, but I saw fire shoot out of it right there. Right there. I think you'll probably be able to see it. I can open it. Yikes. So the fact that fire came out of there tells me that is probably why this thing was put to rest. I'm shocked that it will kind of run with a crack there. Poor Cylonface. In fact, let's take that screw out and see what's in there. Yikes. Oh no. Oh no, yeah, it's just white metal fatigue. Oh no. Well, you probably shouldn't be able to see inside of an engine like that. So if you're like me, you were thinking this motor is junk. It's about time to throw this away. This was a cool experiment, but this is either going to be a decorative piece or, you know, scrap metal. But I got to thinking, and I've always seen these videos out there and heard stories of people fixing engine blocks and all kinds of things with JB Weld. And I've never had the chance to do it. So rather than let Cylonface just die, we're going to hit this with JB Weld. I cleaned up the area already. I just hit it with a wire brush, and then I hit it with some acetone, which is the #1 recommended thing for cleaning before using JB Weld. There's lots of cleaners out there, but a lot of them leave behind an oily residue, and acetone apparently doesn't. So we are clean both sides. This is the side that broke off. It was on a bigger bracket. What I'm guessing happened is that bracket is the case. So if you hit something, it may have cracked, and then we had one, backfire or something. And I can't wait to review the footage. But I thought I saw something shoot out of the side here, but who knows? So the next step will be putting some JB Weld on here, sticking this on, and then I'm just going to put layer after layer on the outside. I think it takes 15 hours to cure, so we'll let it sit until tomorrow, and then we'll try it again. So why not, right? What do we have to lose? All right, I apologize if this sounds like a commercial for JB Weld. It is not. I wish JB Weld would pay me, but it probably won't. But I've been using JB Weld for decades, and I fixed all kinds of things with it, but never an engine block. So to show you what I have here, I have the steel stick, which is kind of like a silly putty consistency. This is really good. I don't think I'm going to use this here. I have the original JB Weld formula, which is a steel reinforced epoxy. This is good up to 5,000 psi, so I think that would be fine for this. Or you have basically the same thing, but it has this special injector that mixes it for you. Or there is one that mixes it. This one actually just distributes, just outputs the same amount of each one, so you know you're doing it right. So I'm going to use this one because I like it. It comes with a mixing tray. That should be good. You want to make sure that you don't let the streams cross, or else you're going to have a permanently glued nozzle. Okay, so let's mix this up, and you know it's working if it smells, like a used sofa from 40 years ago. I mean, it really smells like a basement. I don't even know how to describe this. My plan was just to smooth some of this along this crack, try to get in all the nooks and crannies here. Do the same thing on the block, or on the crankcase, I guess it would be called. I don't really know. So we'll do the same thing here, being really careful not to get any inside. On the outside, see if I can get you lined up. If you ever wondered, what does a rotating crank look like? Well, here you go. I think what you're seeing is the crank linkage. So this side here is, I'm guessing, I can't see too much of it, but I think this is connected to the piston. And the other side is just a balance.